If I asked you who are your best friends, I'm going to lay odds, and I would win money on this bet, that most of your best friends are your old friends. Now, you may still be with them, but a lot of them are friends you haven't seen in a few years. And the reason if somebody said, who's your best friend, it would be because you have the most experiences with them. Not necessarily the most time. You spend time at work with endless amounts of people. But they're not your best friends. It's the people you've built memories with. You get it? If you can get that, then you can get the gigantic importance of building memories in relationships. And so, the church statistics would say people come and visit a church, and if they don't have a friend in a year, they'll leave. And really what they're saying is, if you add what I'm getting at, if there's not an experience or a memory to hold you, because those things hold you. That's why you could go to work with somebody for 3 years, sit in the cubicle next to them, horse around with them, eat lunch with them, and then go on a retreat for 3 days with complete strangers and be closer to them than people you've worked with for 3 years. I know this is a fact. Am I right? I'm right. And the reason is because of the experience level, the memory level, the building the memory concept. So what we would teach in Impact is, if you're a couple, a married couple, do not lose the initiative to build rich memories in your marriage. Don't do it. Go skydiving, go do whatever you need to do, go dancing wherever you need to dance, but go do it so that you can laugh when you're 70 years old. You got dozens of memories to laugh about that are great, some planned, some unexpected. Do it. Do it with your children. Don't just send your children to school. Don't just go to McDonald's. Do crazy things with your children, fun things, things they'll never forget. Oh, you wouldn't believe what my father and mother, they took me to this place and blah, blah, blah. They need that kind of memory building for the family. Does this make sense to you? So when we're talking about remembering, communion-wise, remembrance in the Greek means to make alive again. Resentment on the dark side is to relive it over and over again. No, thank you, please, even though I've had my share of it in my heart. And then memory building. Memory building is critical to the planning of how long y'all will be married. You need to build it in. You need to build it in everywhere you go. Y'all's friendship, no doubt, has tons of laughs in it, tons of experiences where you can relate. And so when Ada's born, whether it's, for 30, 40 years you live before the parents die, build into Ada all these gigantic memories. Take her to the Grand Canyon and ride mules or whatever it is. Build in memories. Doesn't have to cost money. Just build them in. It will make every relationship you have healthy. And if you can do it with the friends you have now that aren't your old friends, that are your best friends, you'll create new best friends. You will. And it's a statistical fact in America that adults lose friends continuously as they grow older, and especially men. Men often die almost friendless with people who they do experiences with regularly. All their friends are way old friends. Women do a better job of maintaining friendships, but even as they get older, they diminish. So basically, the longer you live as an adult, the tendency is going to be the less friends you have in the sense of memory building. So take some initiative with people around you. Say, hey, let's go do this. Hey, let's go do that. And they may be scared to death, but it'll build memories and it'll help your life. Because every life is better with friends. Every marriage is better when the woman has friends and the man has friends. And the two of them have some friendship in their relationship as well as romance. Friendship, if I asked you about your friends don't judge you. Your friends cut you slack. Your friends are full of grace. They'll listen forever. And you don't talk endlessly about your relationship with your friend. Romantic relationships have a whole different dynamic. You dwell on the dynamics of the relationship, which you don't do with your friend. There's a lot of conditionalness in romance. romantic relationships. Well, he did this, well, she did that. And there's all this kind of, stuff going on that's not among friends. And so what I'm saying is that a romantic relationship, based on research, does much better if it has a friendship dimension to it, where you could actually say to your wife or girlfriend, hey, I just need you to be a friend tonight, which means you're going to drop all your relational muckety-muck, all your agenda, and you're just going to listen and not judge. You understand what I'm saying? It's great. It's great research. It's great for helping us all. For me to remember today, not communion or 4th of July, I was on Facebook the other day, or a week or two ago, and a girl named Leslie, who was one of my 2 girlfriends when I was 5 years old, said, do you remember when? And of course, I do. I said, I bear the scar of it. That scar. Can YouTube see that scar? Zoom in. Didn't you say people just tell you when to zoom in on their finger work on the guitar? But that scar had 160 stitches as a 5-year-old. Imagine that as a parent. That's a lot of stitches. And I was a type A personality kid as a 5-year-old, which means I was holy terror. But Leslie asked me on Facebook the other day, do I remember? And I was out on my porch with a lime sherbet ice cream cone. We had a maid back then named Margaret, who I adored. Margaret, I'd aggravated her to death that day, completely. And she said, you're out of the house. I'm giving you a lime sherbet ice cream cone. I've got to do my chores before your parents come home. You're driving me nuts. She gave me a lime sherbet ice cream cone, locked the door. She's in there vacuuming. Hallelujah. Mark's outside. So then Leslie comes over along with another little 5-year-old girlfriend I had named Ann, and they say, you got an ice cream cone? And I said, yeah. And they said, well, we would like one. So I said, well, okay. So I knock on the door, and, Margaret's running the vacuum and probably going, like that. She didn't want to hear me knocking on the door, so I knock on the door. So I said, okay, hold the screen door open. And Leslie and Ann held the screen door open. And I got about 6 or 8 feet away from the door. I stuck out my fist, and I charged it. That's a type A personality, going straight for the cowboy blow. And my arm went right through the glass, and there it is. Of course, Leslie and Ann went running home screaming. I didn't cry. Margaret came to the back door. Everybody went to the hospital, and it was a big deal. So Leslie on Facebook the other day said, do you remember when you tried to get me a lime sherbet ice cream cone? I said, yes, I do. But that's a rich memory. Even after I have not heard from this girl for 40 years. She went to high school with me. I hadn't talked to her in 40 years. She brought up that memory, and we immediately bonded. Memories are great. Certainly, without belaboring this point too much, I have great memories of Mallory and Rachel, and I picked 2 out today to say. For Rachel, it's when she was getting a haircut at the back of Zayre, of all places, on Green Springs at Fantastic Sam's. And she's sitting in a little chair, Rachel. She's 2.5 years old, maybe 3. She's going to get a little beetle haircut. And there's a lady that obviously is 2 or 3 seats down, and she's obviously been to Cracker Barrel more than once. And so Rachel goes down there and calls her a big fat pig, big fat pig, big fat pig, big fat pig. Meanwhile, the parents are going, holy smokes, who is that child? So then we tell Rachel not to say big fat pig. So concretely, in a child's mind, she can't say that phrase, big fat pig. So she gets a magazine and goes over and sits right beside the lady and is turning the pages, going fat, 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 fat. We didn't get a haircut that day, but that's a memory. That's a memory for a family. I'm sure Ada will be right on that page.